Oh, hang on, there you go. Is that working? 222. Off, on. No, on. Yep, it's fine.
All right, folks. Welcome back to beautiful Ngā Puna Sports Hub in Christchurch for the Division 2 New Zealand Ultimate Championships. Here in our open division, we have the Brisbanites. The Brisbanites from Australia facing off against the Wildkitchens from Wellington, here to cook up a storm. Wildkitchens to come out on offense. What a huge rip. Goes long and deep, fielded early by McKevitt. We see the Brisbanites looking to fire off. And a match defense. It's not enough to stop Pete Hoban getting a touch, but great pressure from the Brisbanites defense means it's not going to be pulled down for score just so early. This is what the Brisbanites are hoping for. One player streaking deep, going wide, pressured by Hoban. Great undercut by Montoya Giraldo. Pushes to the near sideline. Finds Yuffie Grimoire. Buckenberg aggressive on the defense, but it's not going to be enough. Hess to Montoya Giraldo again. Known by many as Milo. There's a backhand. Quick backhand to recenter. Yuffie Grimoire, number 44. Milo pushing to the far sideline with a nice forehand, hoping to finish. There it is. Brisbanites go up by 1 to crack open the game with an early break. What a fantastic start for the Australian side. Call me Gawain, because there are a bunch of green knights out that I'm starting to feel the fear from. A little sneaky Arthurian reference for those watching at home. And for those watching at home, my name is Blair Munro, known by some as the voice of New Zealand Ultimate. It is an absolute pleasure to be here at Ngā Puna Sports Hub in Christchurch to bring you the very, very best in Ultimate coverage. Proudly supported by the team at ULTI.TV, but also, particularly for those locals, catering in a box. And the cafe at Ngā Puna, whose coffee lets this machine run so early in the morning. They do a brunch every Sunday, so if you are a local, head on down. It's a breakfast buffet, $22 per person. For under 12s, it is $1 per year of age. An absolute bargain. Great way to get involved with the local community. Great way to make sure you're getting fed while watching some fantastic sports as the Brisbanites send up a huge pull. On the far sideline, Austin Clark bounces to Hoban. Sends a big forehand of his own, looking for Diath. He's not going to be able to pull that one down. Great defensive pressure from the Knights. McKevitt aggressive on the mark. We saw him most recently in the Division 2 Mixed Ultimate Championship last year, playing for Gangrene. What an absolute character. Forces it to go wide to the far sideline, marked by Hoban. McKevitt nearly gets a bite out of it. There's a touch on the reset, which is going to give the disc back to the Wildkitchens and an opportunity here for them to put a point on the board. Clark with a wide side forehand to the far sideline. And the signal for bookends given by the ever-impressive Sam McKevitt for the score. Wildkitchens 1, Brisbanites 1. Wildkitchens, formerly Wildkittens, but they've outgrown the litter box. They've moved into hospitality. Some sideline communication from Tim Buckenberg saying they've finally become house trained, no longer inclined to crap the bed. but they are here to slice and dice through the Brisbanites defense, certainly on that point. As we start off the third point of this game, some early trades, a nice early break by the Brisbanites, and then a hold by the Wildkitchens. Hoban with a monster pull, bringing his experience and leadership to improve the development in the Wellington space. We're seeing a zone defense come down, players up the front applying a lot of aggressive pressure to the Brisbanites, but they're able to keep the disc moving. Howard with the disc by the looks. Marked by Mance, but the reset comes away. Mance up the front of the zone, applying as much pressure as he can, forcing the Brisbanites sideways. Milo again manages to chip away a backhand. Gardner can't stop the left forehand, pushing up the line. Milo again, Montoya Giraldo. Por supuesto. Finds Howard pushing to the far sideline, but not really sure who that throw was to, so it's going to give the Wildkitchens an opportunity to break here. Hoban's going to pick up the disc, supported by Elliot Mance, as the Wildkitchens set up in a vertical stack, trying to create channels along the near and far sideline, giving them as much space as possible to attack. It steps inside Yuffie Grimoire to get the upline cut, pushes towards the center for Hearn. And a huge attempt. But it looks like the Brisbanites are going to have the opportunity to swing back the other way. Looks like he may not have had control of the disc when he hit the ground. Same again, that almost arrowhead zone, 3 players up the front. But a hammer goes over the top. Beautiful shot by the Brisbanites. Some quick 1-2 punches all the way up. Oliver with the backhand, left hand, tries to push to the far sideline, but it's not come away. Hoban resets to Mance. Hess pulling off the front of the stack to provide some support. Milo makes a great attempt, but Hoban's the one who comes down with it, puts the big forehand up. Who is he looking for? Trying to find Connor Fleming, pushing up the far sideline, but the throw goes over the head of the intended receiver. Brisbanites with a shot to go back the other way. A little bit of a defensive scramble from the Wildkitchens as they try to pick up their assignments. Howard, center field. Goes very, very low to find Kwok, bouncing back to Howard. Montoya Giraldo directing traffic, signaling for cuts back under. Howard goes high, outside forehand. Marked by Hoban. Howard gets the disc near side. Great bid by Cooper, but it's not going to be enough. Howard has the disc. Is he going to drop a hammer? Now would be the time. Decides to go wide with a nice forehand. Chips across to Yuffie Grimoire. Looks like that was Kwok to Howard for the score as Brisbanites go up 2-1 over the Wellington Wildkitchens.
Could have been the easiest goal of the world. No, I dropped it. No, I know, but you dropped it because you had to slide. But it could have just been like a... Yeah,
generally got people. Yeah, because if we're pulling the field apart, there's people running up and they're mostly unmarked.
Jack Lilwall, an ULTI.TV favourite to take the field with the Brisbanites now. Brisbanites probably hoping to mirror their performance in the first point of the game, putting an early break on, widen the game up a little bit for them, give themselves that little bit of a cushion to kind of coast forward from, to build some real strong momentum moving forward. A lot of hang time on that one. It's going to give the Brisbanites time to set up a defence. We see a zone look from the Brisbanites. The wind's relatively still, so those big long shots are still an available option. Smith to Gardner. Gardner and Smith working through the zone, pulling out the chef's knives, hoping to cut through the defense. Scuba goes over the top, fielded comfortably by Leishman. Buckenberg laces through to McKivitt. A beautiful finish there. What a great score there by the Wildkitchens to keep the game tied. Great pull down by Leishman to finish that point off and tie the game. Brisbanites on screen in green. Taking a few moments, some sideline players, those real game changers taking a knee, making sure that everyone is on board with the same defensive strategy and offensive strategy. Just making sure that they're available to provide any information that might be pertinent to whatever the inner workings of the Brisbanites' minds might be during this next point. Huge pull by Peter Hoban. A little slow on the chase from the Wildkitchens, giving Howarth and Yuffie Grimoire an opportunity to start moving the disc early before the zone eventually settles in. The long arms of Buckenberg, McKivitt, and Living setting up at the front, trying to stifle any downfield flow the Brisbanites want to work with. Montoya Geraldo working through the middle of the zone, just making his presence known. Open there, but looked off in favor of Howarth. Back to Yuffie Grimoire. There it is, the big wide forehand. Finds Milo. James Cameron puts one up to Howarth. Hoban out of nowhere. Oliver's going to call contact on that play. So a reminder for those at home, Ultimate is a 7-a-side self-officiated sport. There are no external referees, so you don't hear any whistles or any such. It's up to players to learn the rules and to make calls on the field as they happen and to resolve them as amicably as possible in accordance with what we call the spirit of the game. Buckenberg offering perspective. Four Wildkitchens players watching our replay, joined by a fifth. Game advisors, who? And irrespective of what our recording shows, it is a decision that needs to be resolved by the players involved. Looks like that is going to be a contested foul call. So the disc will return to the last uncontested play. So Howarth will have it in hand. Players will resume or retake position on the field based on where they were when the foul, before the foul occurred. And so we can see Hoban setting up quite a distance away, really trying to occupy as much space, trying to leverage his athleticism and foot speed. Now marking a little bit tighter. Howarth pressured by Buckenberg. Yuffie Grimoire trying to make himself available as a reset. It's Cameron. Milo on the far sideline. Howarth jumps for the reset. Cameron gets a hand to it. It's just outside his range, so it looks like it came off his hands. Hoban and Leishman. With Smith working to Buckenberg on the near sideline. Hoban, an aggressive undercut. Gets free, puts the big forehand up, looking for McKivitt. Can he find him? Yes, he can. Sam McKivitt, 2 of the 3 points on the board for the Wildkitchens. An absolute machine and such a nice guy. Look at that style. Great work there by McKivitt to pull that one down. Nice vision by Hoban and that famous forearm that he's known for. Just lets one rip, putting Wildkitchens up for the first time in the game. So the Wildkitchens to come out on defense. McClanahan. Cooper. Hoban again. Gardner. And Austin Clark with the pull. Plenty of hang time. Howarth initiating again. Some great offensive flow by the Brisbanites. Looks like Gardner may have got a touch on that one. Avila works back towards the center field, pushes past the zone. The disc gets dropped back, looking for Kirkby. Kirkby's got it. Supported by Psutka. Huge snatch by Mance. Just rips that one out of the sky. What a play. We'll see that again. Great bid by Kirkby, but Mance is the one who comes down with it. Hoban to Gardner. To Clark, back to Hoban. Winds up the hammer, decides to put it back in the holster. Sends the forehand anyway. Gardner's underneath it. Can he get there? Not quite. What a great rundown. Huge play by DJ Flex himself, Sean Gardner. Some good on-field, off-field communication. Howard from the sideline, trying to tell his teammates there's a lot of space through this zone that we're seeing. Mance, McClanahan up front. Aggressive on the disc. Goes wide, opens up the field. Denhes finds Avila with a nice give and go. Denhes again up the line, a forehand. Finds Muller. Here's Lilwall. Great forehand for the up line to Kirkby. Close to finishing. Sutka again with a huge hammer to Peter Hoban, dominating the deep space. Gardner available as a reset. Gets the disc, hoping to continue. Chips one through to Mance in the midfield. Puts a huge forehand up, looking for Hoban. Hoban's speed, is it going to get there? Not quite. A little surprising, Peter Hoban didn't try and lay out for that one. You can see from the highlight on his kit, he clearly goes to ground. He's got a habit of it. This play-by-play brought to you by Pam Detergent. That is just a joke, folks. Muller and Avila. Nice forehand to the near sideline. The defense is scrambling. Mance with a little bit of a tumble. Avila with a laser beam through to Lilwall. Cooper can't get a touch on it. Denhere's wide open, but it doesn't come. Goes around, finds Avila. Back to Lilwall. Great play with the disc there. Avila manages to throw some big fakes, trying to shift the defense. They look like they've switched back to a match. There it is, Denhes. What a great shot to number 49 for the Brisbanites as they tie the game. The score now 3-3.
Yeah, it's pronounced Dollhead. It's pronounced Dollhead. Dollhead. Okay, maybe that's the way. Dollhead. Yeah. All right, thanks.
Just a quick correction so no grandparents get mad at me. It's Donhay. My apologies to Christopher Donhay's family. But a great score nonetheless by number 49 in green. There is the pull from the Brisbanites. Buckenberg takes the first centering pass. Smith. Very shifty, finds McKevitt. Puts one up. Leishman with the disc. Slightly underthrows the acceleration of Isaac Living. He's just too fast up the line. Can't put the disc out in front. One of those great calibration moments for the Wildkitchens to dial things in a little bit. Just remind themselves, hey, we've got the speed, we've got the throws, but it's Howarth with the disc on the near sideline. Calling for a lot of cuts, puts a high outside forehand. Snatched down by Withrall. McKevitt with a touch, but it's kept alive as they fire down the far sideline. Cameron, nice high cross. Not going to be enough by the defense. Great play by Smith. But it is the Brisbanites who put one on the board, going 4-3 now over the Wellington Wildkitchens. We're going to get to see that again. Cameron with a great crossfield backhand, just enough edge that it fades back in. Great play by McKevitt to nearly get the block there. What a huge touch on the disc. That's Vern Verrier with the score. And so the Brisbanites to come out on defense once again. Kirkby with the pull. It's going to touch down and roll. Roll backs for the Wildkitchens to get a few free yards. Clark working with Gardner on the far sideline. The defense eventually manages to clamp things down. Mance wide open on the near sideline, but it's not going to come. Great run through by Clark. Can Hoban get to it? Yes, he can. That is going to be a score for the Wildkitchens to tie the game. Gardner, marked by Avila, manages to work with Clark. We're going to see that again. Clark putting the big forehand up. Hoban a little off balance, but he can pull it down anyway. Teams just trading at the moment. Brisbanites with a slight advantage, knowing that after halftime they're going to come out on offense. Hoban's got the disc for the pull, supported by Cooper, McKevitt, Gardner. What a pull, touching down just in front of the end zone. Kwok and Yuffie Grimoire to Howarth. Kwok wide open near sideline, takes it easy. Continues working as the defense scrambles to get in front. Witherall working on that up line. Manages to get this back to Yuffie Grimoire. Great foot movement by Clark, but it doesn't stop the reset to Hess on the near sideline. Goes over the top. Finds Kwok one more time, back to Hess. The scuba is good. Witherall with the score for Brisbanites to go up by 1. The score now 5-4. In a game to 15, so we will take a halftime break once the first team hits 8 points. So such a tightly contested game, could be anyone's at the moment. There's only 1 point in it. Brisbanites with the disc now for the pull. NZUC with the pull for the Brisbanites. Looks like it's going to touchdown out of bounds. We see the outstretched arm by Austin Clark, signifying that the disc is going to be brought back to a brick mark. A point in the midfield, about 18 metres in front of the defensive end zone. So there's no positional advantage conferred to the defense by throwing the disc out of bounds. Clark is going to be supported in the upfield space by Reese Hearn. Avila on the mark for Wildkitchens, setting up in a vertical stack. 2 big fakes. Avila active, scrambling. Lets the backhand go. It's Hoban underneath it. It's Hoban to tie the game. Wildkitchens 5, Brisbanites 5. Some great movement there by Clark to just move the defense and open up that channel for a deep throw. Conditions quite still. There's not a huge amount of wind. Kind of picks up, sits down. No real dominant direction at the moment. So the conditions aren't having a huge impact on the ability of these teams to put those long shots up. Clark just shifting around that pivot foot, manages to get Avila off balance. Despite a great bid by Kirkby to try and shut that one down. Wildkitchens out on defense, hearing the call from the sideline to turn up the heat. Pull goes high, pushes out towards the far sideline. Touches down out of bounds. It's going to give Yuffie Grimoire the opportunity to bring the disc back to centre field. McClanahan, Diath and Gardner setting up that zone. Looking to have a cup, forcing towards the far sideline. Clark with a huge run through block. We're going to see that again. Howarth tries for it. Clark just getting a shoulder in front of Milo. Peter Hoban with a big forehand. Who's it for? For Buckenberg, and the score putting Wildkitchens ahead. What a great break there for the Wildkitchens to put them 1 up over the Brisbanites. We get to see that again. Nice open forehand to Buckenberg in the end zone, putting the Wildkitchens up by 1. So we're just taking a bit of a timeout now. Both of these teams taking a moment, trying to reconsolidate strategies. They're both in it by a toe hold. There's never been more than a 1-point lead throughout this entire game. just trying to consolidate some last-minute adjustments as we move to close out the first half of the game. So a slight correction to an earlier comment made. We are 2 for 2. Apologies again to Don Hay. But this is a game to 13. So a break by the Wildkitchens here will be half. Wildkitchens here in need of a break to take half and open up the game. If they give away a point here, especially if they let the Brisbanites take half, the Brisbanites started on defense, they'll start the second half on offense. Clark, who threw that fantastic long shot to Hoban only a couple of points ago, he's going to line up with the pull. What a beautiful shot. Brisbanites setting up in a horizontal stack. 3 players back. Lilwall quick to explode out. Lilwall doing the most, putting in a huge amount of work. Goes wide around. Sutka, Avila, far sideline. Lilwall again. Sutka parked out on the open side. Avila comes underneath. He puts the forehand up, but it's blading early, and it's McKevitt. McKevitt with a touch to secure that. Just disc came out of the hand a little awry. Started to fade early. McKevitt was able to get underneath it. Smith has the disc. Clark with a great cut right across the front of the stack. McClanahan tries to make himself available as a support. But it's Clark to Smith. Big fake. Gets a bite out of Cameron. Clark manages to get free. High backhand over the top to Cooper. McClanahan right on the sideline. Gets looked off. Don Hay aggressive on the mark. The disc has to go back to Clark. Sam McKevitt looks to get a touch, but there's contact on the play, so a foul's going to be called. And it looks like that is an accepted contact. So Muller believes that Sam McKevitt would have had the disc had that contact not occur. McKevitt will get to keep it. The Wildkitchens retain possession. Clark puts a huge rip up. Who is he looking for? Isaac Living. It's Lilwall. What a huge defensive play, but again, that's going to be a foul call again. It's such a tight game. There's the big shot. We're seeing it again. Okay, so by the looks of things, there was a little bit of contact between Living, the receiver, and Avila, which slowed Living down. He wasn't able to get off the ground, which gave Lilwall a bit of an easier attempt at the disc. And so the question to be resolved by the players is going to be, was that contact between Avila and Living significant enough to prevent Living from making the play on the disc that he genuinely believes he would have been able to? And a correction to the correction. We are playing a game to 15. We have 90 minutes on the clock. A little bit of a confusion there. But that's going to be a contested foul in the end. So the disc will go back to Clark. We know he's got the range. So we have a game to 15. It is the final day of the Division 2 of New Zealand Ultimate Championships at Puna Sports Hub. If only the information came as smoothly as some of these throws. Clark to Mance. Back to Clark on the far sideline. He puts the shot up. Living again. Avila and Lilwall again closing in, but this time it looks clean. The disc is going to go back to the Brisbanites. Clenahan and Mance pressuring the disc. Sutka goes over top to Donhay. Laser beam up the far sideline. Avila's not going to be able to keep that one off the ground. So the Wildkitchens could be one away from half. Clark shakes free. Puts the forehand up. And that is McKivitt. Which I believe technically, depending on your perspective, is his second bookend of the game. It is the circle of life, and it moves us all through despair and hope, through faith and love, until we find our place in the end zone holding the disc. Great work by McKivitt there to pull that one down. 2 blocks, 2 scores for that man. Number 73 for the Wildkitchens. Wildkitchens up by 2. The widest lead we've seen in this entire game, only 2 points in it. Such a great match here on display at the Puna Sports Hub. Wildkitchens to come out on defense now. Are we going to see that same zone? Hoban, Buckenberg, DR, Hearn, Gardner on the line for the Wildkitchens. Sean Gardner just taking a casual rest before exploding off the line with Hoban's monster pull. There is a lot of float on that one. Fielded by Yuffie Grimoire. Nearly miscues, slightly overthrows Howarth, but he's keeping it in hands. It's Kwok on the far sideline. Howarth with an outstretched hand. Clark aggressive on defense. Yuffie Grimoire trying to push for the upline. Gets looked off in favor of Milo. Montoya Giraldo with the backhand to Kwok. Little bubble. Buckenberg can't get a bite in that one. Kwok comes near sideline to find Withrell. Howarth on a wide swing. The big hammer. Can he pull it down? It looks like he can. Rowan Hess limping back off field after a huge play puts the Brisbanites back within 1. The score 7-6 in a game to 15. Wildkitchens with an opportunity here to score and take half. Witherell goes to Howarth. Buckenberg tries to set the defense, but the hammer's already in the air. 2 receivers, and it's Hess who comes down with it. What a beautiful play. A great score by the Brisbanites. Sutka puts it high and long. Gardner makes a quick correction. Leishman and Clark goes wide with a forehand. Gardner providing support as the Brisbanites come down in a matched zone defense, sorry. Possibly players making a little bit of room. Cooper tries to reset to Gardner, who lays out for the disc, but he's not going to be able to keep it in hand. It's a turn that the Brisbanites need. Howarth going to walk up to initiate, marked by Buckenberg. Nice forehand all the way through to Thomas. That's Howarth on a great upline cut. Just needs to close. Despite a great attempt by Austin Clark. Great attempt by Austin Clark. Huge rundown, what a score. That takes us to our Galaxy point. 7-7 with a halftime at 8. The next point means everything. What a find.
Yes, they are.
Yes, the number 93, Jack Kirkby, on the receiving end of that bullet of a forehand. Outside the outstretched reach of Austin Clark. We are back on serve now. Smith curves one in to Gardner. Hoban with a little cheeky step gets around Montoya Giraldo. Hoban quarterbacking. A lot of signaling. Chips one around to Gardner, who puts the big shot up. Looking for Leishman, and he's got it. What a beautiful score there for the Wildkitchens to take half. 8-7 over the visiting, invading Brisbanites. Some fantastic work by both of these teams, but at the moment, it is the Wildkitchens who are cooking up a storm. Up by 1. We will be back with you after a very short break for the exciting second half of this electric match between the Australian Brisbanites and the Wellington Wildkitchens. Huge stuff in Hawaii Sports Hub. My name is Blair Munro, your eyes and ears on the ground to provide context and commentary for the Division 2 New Zealand Ultimate Championships, proudly brought to you by ULTI.TV.
You're in? The half full bottle, mate. It'll do. Yeah, that was safe. Safe as houses.
I think technically it's 2 bookings because that row Yo, we get back to
Do you have a senior captain? Or a captain's captain? Yeah, when you.
But the problem is like it's something super hot to
yeah.
But in the morning it's just like it's a little tiny like espresso thing, it was just like black coffee. I'm a little bit worried that will make it worse.
A little bit out there, mate.
It could be worse, it could not be.
Okay. Stop holding yourself to such high standard, baby.
The thing is, like one up there. The thing is, it doesn't matter where they are. They're both overweight on the open side, so we still need more.
Demand's the features, really, don't they? Do a good back.
Yeah, we're pretty heavy. Anything just like a pitch, listen to the discussions, still heavy for tools to make, but just less than really. So that's exciting.
We should know straight away.
Yeah, we were happy with that. One thing we noticed when we watched the one game, they did put some factors on the live stream, so it was one of these exciting well.
On the live stream?
Yeah, you could like so what happens, and then some people on the sideline,
They should do fucking
so we were just thinking like, oh, that's the perspective we can ask for. Like, if somebody here is like this, they'd be like, just a caveat on that. Most of our calls that have occurred have been like the contested ones, more in with what people are doing now. So I don't really think a live stream necessarily. For those calls that are definitely for an in-out call that's like pretty close, by all means, let's go to the live stream. But I do think disagreements are there, but hey, it's generally good. It's a small thing. Yeah.
Everyone was all right,
How are you feeling? Sorry?
Yeah, well, one of them.
I'm annoyed. I mean, a couple of times we've gotten the traffic.
Oh, yeah.
You'll see on a few players. It's like Japanese graphics are going to look like it's just like going in and then it goes bang right out. You happy? This is the world's longest
Yes, sir!
I'm not sure. I want some mushrooms up here.
Yes, sir! Yes, sir! I want some steak marinated. Yes, sir! Already knocked it.
1, 2, 3, yes!
And we are back for the second half of this exciting match between the Brisbanites from Australia, somewhere in Australia, I wonder where, and the Wellington Wildkitchens for Division 2 New Zealand Ultimate Championships at Ngā Puna Sports Hub in beautiful Christchurch. The score currently 8-7 in favour of the Wildkitchens, but the Brisbanites to come out on offence. Peter Hoban with the disc for the pull for the Wildkitchens. Once again, my name is Blair Munro. It is a privilege to be here with the team from ULTI.TV to bring you the very best in New Zealand Ultimate. Pull goes long, fielded early. Sutka working with Kirkby. Donhay gets open on an undercut towards the near sideline. Finds Avila, sorry. A laser of a shot to Kirkby. Makevich shuts down the up line. We go back to Tsutska. Great around shot to find Thomas. Finishes it off. Finds Muller in the end zone. Ties up the game. Brisbanites 8, Wildkitchens 8. We're going to get to see that again. That's Thomas. Puts the outside in, forehand, just a little bit of edge, fading away to find Muller in the end zone. And now the Brisbanites to come out on defense. An opportunity here to generate a break. They might be able to walk away with the lead. Only time will tell. Howarth with the pull. Clark and Mance working early. Setting up in a vertical stack. Peter Hoban with a great undercut. His momentum not gaining too many yards. Marked by Montoya Giraldo. What a find by Clark to manage to get that one through. Hoban with a big backhand. Howard's underneath it. Buckenberg wide open. A great target in the end zone, but Howard says no. Milo puts the shot up, looking for Hess. Can't quite get there in time. Just a little bit of a miscommunication, a little bit of mistiming. Shot goes up, looking for Hoban. Hess is underneath it. Hess goes early. Hoban pulls it down. It's not in. Tries to put it low. Looks like some contact on the throw. So it's up to the players to resolve the question of whether or not there was a foul and what the impact on the play will be. Looks like Hoban's going to retain possession of the disc. Quickly offloads to Leishman. Hoban explodes to the far sideline for a sweet score. Wildkitchens 9, Brisbanites 8. We see again Leishman winding up. Great score there by Hoban. Keeping the Kitchens up by 1. Hoban puts the pull up, got a little bit of inside-out edge, fading back towards the near sideline, but it's fielded by Thomas. Hoban right on the shoulder of Muller, so he can't get away until he can. Sean Gardner playing a little bit of interference. The throw goes long. It's going to give the disc back to the Wildkitchens. Looks like that might have been a high stall count bailout option. A little bit more of a territorial play than anything else, but Mance is going to pick up the disc. Expecting big things from this young man, marked down by the aggressive arms of Jack Lilwall. Goes high. Tries to find Cooper on and around backhand. But the disc will go back to the Brisbanites on the near sideline. Sean Gardner again poaching. Stopping that upline cut, has to go wide, tries to find Avila, but can't get it to him. Hoban close on the doorstep. Finds Gardner. Marked by Donhay, back to Hoban, centre field. McKevitt wide open. Left alone as Mance makes an aggressive undercut. Puts a high backhand up, looking for... Unclear, but it looks like it would have been out. I think Cooper tried to make another attempt on that one. And so the disc is going to return to the Brisbanites. A hotly contested point, this one. Brisbanites in a vertical sack. Kirkby. Thomas to Withrell. Lilwall going deep. Marked by Mance. Lilwall's got it. Right on the doorstep. Donhay cutting. Gets separation from Gardner, but it's the scuba across field. A great look. Kirby gets a huge bit out of McKevitt. Can't capitalize. Has to work back, finds Thomas. There's the forehand. Sam McKevitt nearly manages to pull that one away, but it's the Brisbanites who will tie the game. Kirkby with a huge play to put that score on the board. We have 90 minutes total on the clock as we enter the 69th minute. A nice moment to just reflect upon the amazing game we've seen so far. Such intensity from both teams rather. Some huge long shots, some very clinical, working, grinding offense, some zone defense, aggressive match plays, layouts, bookends, huge blocks, huge scores. And a timeout has been called. The score, 9-9. And so the teams are going to be using this time to think, what adjustments do we need to make? Are we equal with them? Do we think we're better than them? What mistakes are we making that they're capitalizing on? What mistakes are they making that we can reinforce, that we can make them make again and again? How can we start to claw away an opening in this game? How can we generate more momentum? How can we push forward to our 15-point final? Brisbanites first to break the huddle. Huge layout attempt by McKevitt. Seven on the line, McClanahan, Clark, Gardner, Hoban, Leishman, Smith and Buckenberg to take on the Brisbanites defense.
It looks so good.
Howarth with the disc for the pull. Sends it high. Touches down just in bounds. We are in Callaghan country. There's an opportunity here. That's exactly what Brisbane wanted. Forcing just a few passes from deep in the defensive end zone as the Wildkitchens rush to move it out into safer play. Those errors creep in. It's Howarth. And Montoya Geraldo with an uncharacteristic drop. This is a golden shot here for the Wildkitchens. Leishman pushing deep. Buckenberg pressuring under, recognizing that there's a strong zone defense in play from the Brisbanites. Although a violation has been called. Clark pushes back to Smith. Hoban, far sideline, Leishman's got it. There's no one in front. Back to Clark, patient offense, players circling around, cycling through, in and out, trying to get past this zone defense. Hess aggressive on the mark. And Veria now. Hoban has the disc, manages to float one through to Clark, goes through to Buckenberg. Smith not looking for an option, so Buckenberg has to hesitate, recenters. Bounces one off Clark to Smith. Gardner pushing deep, Leishman wants to put it, he doesn't. The defensive pressure there from Cameron is just too much. Clark near sideline now. A give and go to swap places with Peter Hoban, pressured by Veria. One big one over the top to Leishman. Smith there to support. Clark goes through, but it's Leishman and Hoban right on the doorstep. There's the big hammer for Gardner. What a great score there, so patient. And again, just a reminder for those watching at home, playing against a zone, your threat is space. You're recognizing where the most vulnerable space is. In that case, the Brisbanites, their deepest defender, probably wasn't expecting a hammer to come over the top, but Hoban's got one in his tool belt and he's ready to use it. Sees a wide open Sean Gardner. And what a finish to that point. Leishman finds Hoban. There it is. The zone slowly closes, but the hammer's already up and it's too late for the Brisbanites defense. Wildkitchens, they get a shot. Up by 1 to come out on defense now in a game to 15. Hoban with a huge pull. Well fielded. Lilwall and Kirkby working the disc against the Wildkitchens zone defense. Calling players in. Lilwall goes wide to Kirkby. Lilwall tries to draw Mance out of the way, but can't do it. Sutka. Donhay lingering, gets the disc through with a nice off-pivot backhand from Lilwall. Muller pressuring. Lilwall to Kirkby. Nice forehand through. Sutka pushing deep. Disc goes back. It's Lilwall center field, marked by Living and Mance. Muller to Avila, far sideline. McClanahan closes down, back to Muller. Living aggressive on the desk. It's McKevitt now. Looks like we've switched to a match defense. The zone clearly not working for the Wildkitchens. They look to isolate those one-on-ones. The foul has been called. Unsure exactly what happened there. Contact between Hoban and Sutka by the looks. Unsure who initiated. Players gathering around the commentary booth discussing the replay. But it always comes back to the players on the field who need to resolve the call. For those at home, Ultimate is a self-officiated sport. No whistles, no referees other than the players on the field who take it upon themselves to learn the rules, make calls and resolve them as amicably as possible in accordance with the spirit of the game.
The problem is we can't see there whether they were kind of going up.
The disc is live. Looks like the foul's going to be retracted. A great upline cut for the score by the Brisbanites. Looks like that was Kirkby. Thomas to Kirkby for the score. Sorry, Cameron, I believe. Nope.
Kitchens. Come on.
Great finish there by Kirkby to tie the game. Looks like we're going to call a timeout now. 10 all. Little less than 11 minutes on the clock. Currently a race to 15. I say it a lot. I say it when the score margin is a little wider. It is anyone's game at this point. These two teams are so evenly matched in terms of their flexibility, their adaptability, the on-field communication, the way they work together, their defensive cohesion. These teams are going one for one. Huge athletic plays. Clinical ultimate. It's all on display here at the Puna Sports Hub in Christchurch in the Division 2 New Zealand Ultimate Championships.
Grind some beans!
Yes, Shera!
I want you to steam some milk!
Yes, Shera!
I want you to put it in the machine!
Yes, Shera! Boom!
Thank you, Brother for that.
I got you. I wonder if it's a brown or like this little like. Wait, like a slight interjection. Like, hey, did you have that gas ball off? Yeah. I'll read on the mouth.
And we are back after that timeout. 10 all. Wildkitchens against the Brisbanites. A huge, huge display of great ultimate here for you today at Puna Sports Hub. And just a reminder for those who may be watching, particularly those locals, come on down for the rest of the day, watch the finals live, get here early enough, you might be able to get yourself a seat at the brunch buffet held by the cafe at Puna and catering in a box. $22 per person, under 12s get in for $1 per year of age. Their coffee is the thing that keeps this ULTI.TV machine running. So come on down and give them some support. Every single Sunday, not just today in celebration of Ultimate, but year-round, just in concert with all of the sporting events that happen at this beautiful complex, these grounds that we are using to showcase the very best of Ultimate here in New Zealand. As Howarth from the Brisbanites puts a huge pull up, but it touches down on the far sideline. We see the signal for the brick from Hearn. who's going to bring the disc in at a point about 18 metres in front of the Wildkitchens defensive end zone. Hearn and Smith in a vertical stack for the Wildkitchens offense, creating channels on the near and far sideline. Sam McKevitt holding a bit of space for structure, but it's Hoban with an undercut. Puts a huge forehand up looking for Buckenberg. Howard takes a bite, but he can't get there. And it's Stephen Leishman with the run score, just circling around the Brisbanites defense to go one up over the side from Australia. Wildkitchens 11, Brisbanites 10. If you blink, you miss it. The opportunity is there for both of these teams to put up some big shots and close out points very, very quickly. How are the Brisbanites going to answer? Brisbanites coach Tyson Buhaja taking a knee on the sideline, on the line, offering some last-minute support and comms to the rest of his team. We see Lil Wall, Don Hay, Cameron, Muller, Sutka, Avila. Peter Hoban with the disc for the pull. Comes as little surprise. It's long, Sutka trying to field. Touches down, out of bounds, so the disc will be bricked. Brisbanites setting up in a vertical stack of their own. Kirkby and Sutka. They're switching to a horizontal stack now, trying to take advantage of the wind. They've got channels, but closer to the disc and deeper into the end zone. Lil Wall working the disc back with Kirkby and Sutka. And so that zone defense that we're seeing from the Wildcats, they're counting those passes. They'll probably fold into a match defense soon. Just using the first few seconds of the point to really try and frustrate the defense into making some mistakes, or the offense rather, into making some mistakes. Kirkby, Lil Wall, McKevitt on the mark with Cooper and Gardner. Slowly getting pushed back. There's a snappy hammer to Avila, wide open in the midfield. Goes wide across to Muller. Has to look back, finds Kirkby. Slowly working around the zone. Lil Wall again. Is he going to drop the hammer another time? The scuba instead over the top. Austin Clark shutting down the continuation as Muller gets the disc. Has to work back towards the midfield. Gives to Lil Wall to Kirkby. Nice little air bounce to Avila. Don Hay's got it. Puts one through despite a great attempt by Austin Clark. It's Cameron. Don Hay trying to shake free of the defense. But it's Jack Lil Wall who appears out of nowhere wearing the disc as a hat to tie the game for the Brisbanites. Huge plays from Jack Lil Wall. An old hand, a great familiar name here at ULTI.TV. A very hard-fought game so far. We have seen a 2-point lead only once in this entire game. It has been tied or teams have been one up the entire time. Such evenly matched sides. Lil Wall up over Gardner. The cheeky salute there right at the end. Howarth has the disc. We see Montoya Giraldo, Yuffie Grimoire, Withrall, Kwok on the line, Kirkby again. Wildcats, Buckenberg, McKevitt, Hearn, Hoban.
Let's go, boys, come on.
Great pull by Howarth, but it's going to touch down out of bounds. It's Austin Clark to give the signal for the brick and initiate the offense for the Wildkitchens. Clark, slow approach, giving his teammates a chance to catch their breath. We are seeing a bit of a zone defense from the Brisbanites again. That's Leishman. Finds Austin Clark. There's not a lot developing in the deep space. Our Hooter has gone, or is about to go, as Buckenberg has this marked by Howarth. A little bit of a stoppage. So we will conclude this point and then play to a score 1 point higher than that. After our corrections and corrections and corrections, we are going to have a game to 13 after all. Austin Clark puts one through low, but it's kept in hand. It's Peter Hoban. Austin Clark there as support, but he puts the backhand up looking for Leishman. Leishman's got it! Stephen Leishman puts one on the board for the Wildkitchens. The score, 12-11. The Hooter has gone. It is a game to 13. Unbelievable. These two teams so evenly matched. Everything is coming down to the wire. Wildkitchens, a break here ends the game. They do not want to let it go to 12-all Universe Point if they can help it. The Brisbanites need to hold. They cannot make any mistakes from here on out. The pressure is mounting. The winner of this on the road to the finals. And so, who is the key players? Who are the key players, I should say? Who are the key players on the Wildcats line hoping to generate this turn? Gardner, Cooper, Hoban, McKevitt, Smith, Leishman. Huge pull by Leishman, hoping to finish off the game. Lil Wall gets it early. Thomas with a laser beam through, and it's Clark out of nowhere, pulls that one down. Avila trying to cover Cooper. Clark puts it up high. What an angle, who's underneath it? It's Hoban. He's in. That's the score, that's the game. What a break there for the Wildkitchens. An ambitious shot by Clark, but he trusts his receiver, Peter Hoban, to come down with that one. Only 2 points in it, folks. The Wildkitchens really came here to cook, and cook they did. What a fantastic finish. A bit of heartbreak for the Brisbanites, who played incredibly well and should be so proud of the performance they put on for you here at the fields and those watching at home. High fives all around, but it's the Wildkitchens who will be moving forward at Ngā Puna Sports Hub in the New Zealand Ultimate Championships Division 2. Until next time, my name is Blair Munro. It has been a pleasure to be here with the ULTI.TV team to bring you coverage of this fantastic event. We'll see you in the next one.
ULTI.TV